I'm DJ Psyched, and you're watching the Get Psyched YouTube channel. Let's get psyched about YouTube. I'm DJ Psyched, and today we're doing another music list. Today we're doing the 50 best songs of all time. No, I'm kidding. We're just doing my top 50 tracks on Spotify. I know, that joke was terrible. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I have my nice friend Angel here with us. He keeps trying to climb my head, I guess because I'm so bald now. He thinks it's a rock. But we're going to talk about the top 50 songs on my Spotify because I thought it would be fun. And I want to make this into a little discussion, you know? Tell me about what your top songs are below and rate them the way that I'm going to be rating these, because I'm rating these based on first impressions when I heard the songs, their mood/theme, basically why I was into it, what was the meaning or the hook that really made this song stick, and if the tracks held up over time. Are these songs that I listened to a lot, or did I just listen to them so much back in the day that they made it on this playlist? I'm going to start off with the first track as a nice example of what I'm talking about here. So for first impressions, Hannah's Theme, this song's by the Chemical Brothers, and it was apparently from some kind of soundtrack. It was from a soundtrack to a movie, and I just really liked the Chemical Brothers, so I decided to listen to this soundtrack, and this song really stuck out to me. Like, I was absolutely mesmerized by just the first listen, and this track, it has no lyrics. It's just kind of someone going, like over and over, and it sounds absolutely beautiful. It's a very short track, but it's so sweet and beautiful that I used to like put this track on repeat and listen to it all night as I slept, which is why it remains my top song on Spotify, because listening to a song continually for like 8 hours every night really adds up. And yeah, I've not been able to get any song to beat it because of that. So as far as the mood/theme, like I said, this song is incredibly peaceful and relaxing. It's just the most soothing thing I've ever heard. Like, honestly, when I'm feeling distressed, I put on Hannah's Theme and it calms me down. So that's why I had it on repeat so much. It just kept me nice and calm and centered. And as far as holding up over time, I can still bump this track, but not in the way you traditionally bump a track. Like, I don't go around recommending this song to everyone and bumping it in the car when I'm with my friends. This is still just a track that I listen to on my own a lot when I want to feel calm or whatever. So I would say it's held up over time, and I'm going to rate it a 5 for first impression, 5 for mood and theme, and 5 for overtime, which really can't be surprising because it's on the top of my most listened to songs list. The second one actually really surprised me. It's the Piano Knows Something I Don't Know alternative version by Panic at the Disco. And I'm not surprised because I don't like this song or anything. I was just really surprised by this because I haven't listened to this song in forever. Although, for my rating of how it's held up over time, I would say a 5 out of 5. This song is absolutely amazing. And much like Hannah's Theme, it's an incredibly relaxing and soothing song. The way that they layer it in the alternative version and just make it this slow, developing tune, like, it's an amazing song. If you like The Piano Knows Something I Don't Know, I think you would absolutely love the alternative version too. And I happen to love it just a little more. But I haven't listened to it in forever, which is why I like looking at playlists like these, because there's some songs that are just fantastic, but we don't listen to them every day. I think it kind of makes the song a little bit more special if an old favorite isn't played all the time, because, you wear songs out. I definitely wore some of these songs out of myself for a while, but I could probably bump this playlist now again because I haven't heard that one in forever. As far as first impressions go, I remember just kind of being confused the first time I heard it because I didn't know there was an alternate version. I was like, this is different, but I absolutely loved it. So once again, 5 out of 5. And the mood and theme, again, I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this track. These are all my top 50 tracks on Spotify. I didn't really think of it much before I started this scoring system, but I feel like a lot of them are gonna score incredibly high. But whatever, we're still gonna stick with this theme. Number 3 is A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Very different from the last 2 tracks. This is definitely the heaviest, fastest, most aggressive on the list so far. Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, the mood and the theme is really what got me. It's kind of an aggressive, angry song. It's something you'd listen to if someone screwed you over and you just need to get some of that anger out. That's what the wolf in sheep's clothing is. Wolf in sheep's clothing is more than a warning. They say it a lot in the song, and it's just really just a track for when you're upset. And I just listened to it a lot when I was a little bit angry about some stuff, and it's just a relaxing song too. And it's really catchy. It's so catchy, and the hook is amazing. So mood/theme, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Perfect song if you're feeling aggressive. First impressions, my friend showed me this song, and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 too, because after first listen, I was like, yeah, this is something I'm gonna bump. And has it held up over time? I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Yes, it definitely has held up over time. As much as I do still listen to this song from time to time, I wouldn't give it a 5 out of 5 just because I've set that standard at Hannah's Theme and The Piano Knows Something I Don't Know. And I love Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, but I'm going to have to be fair here and give it 4 out of 5 because it's amazing, but it's not quite at that level. Number 4, Everywhere I Go by Hollywood Undead. This is my party anthem. I don't even really party at all. No, I don't party at all anymore. But this song still holds up. It's amazing. It's the song you put on. You could be sitting in your room alone at 3 a.m. in your bed in the dark, and you'd still feel like you're at a party with this song. So Mood is 5 out of 5. Definitely makes you feel like a badass. First impressions, yes. This song has the catchiest hook in the intro, like dun 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 dun. Anyone who knows this song knows what I'm talking about. As soon as you start listening to it, you are going to instantly fall in love with it. It is a really catchy tune. So 5 out of 5 for first impressions. And over time, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5 because I feel the same way about this song as I do the first two. This is a song that I get so hype about as soon as it comes on every single time. It does not fail. Speaking of songs that I really, really love, Lo-Fi Children and Life's Too Short. I could never choose my favorite between these two songs. I became obsessed with them both when I was a freshman in college, and I still have no idea which one I would say is better than the other. They're both friggin' amazing, and it blows my mind that Wild Party were able to make two of, like, what are my absolute favorite songs of all time on one record. Like, I don't know, it gives me mad Panic feelings, because there's a lot of songs on Panic's first album that just, like, blow my mind, and I'm like, dang, how does an artist write this many bangers in one album? And that's how I feel about Lo-Fi Children and Life's Too Short. Mood, these songs make you feel like you're in some wonderland of beauty and grace, and you figured it out, whatever it is. It's amazing. These songs just, they feel like love and bubbly and friendshipy, but they also feel really like moving, and their sound is so amazing. It's like this kind of indie pop thing they've got going on. It kind of takes you to another world in your head. It's called Phantom Pop, and that title, the picture, everything about this just fits so perfectly. I absolutely love these two tracks, and I love a few other songs off this record, but these two tracks hold the markings, and I'm putting them together because they're two songs off the same record, and I love them both like a lot. So I'm going to say for Mood and Theme, they're both 5 out of 5s. First impressions, they were both 5 out of 5s, and have they held up over time? These are probably two of the tracks that I listen to the most still. I listen to Hannah's Theme, Piano Knows Something I Don't Know, a lot back in the day. I don't listen to them much anymore. Wolf in Sheep's Clothing and Everywhere I Go, I listen to them every now and again, but Lo-Fi Children and Life's Too Short, I still bump them a lot. So I guess that says a lot about how much I was bumping the other tunes back in the day that they made it at the top of the list. That is something that I guess is not just so reflective about how much I like a certain track over another. Back in the day, I didn't have a lot of music I listened to. When I was in high school, my library on Spotify in 2014 was significantly smaller than it is now. So the songs that are like more recently put on this, like the songs that are newer but on this list, are definitely like, they could still be like in my head a little bit better than the other ones, because I wasn't bumping that much music back then. So of course I was playing the same songs over and over again, but I don't really listen to all the same stuff over and over and over again now. So it says a lot that these songs made it onto this list. Number 7 is one that I really wasn't quite expecting, but now that I look back at it, but yeah, totally makes sense. Sober by Fiddler. I bumped that song so hard as a freshman, and that was on one of my first playlists in college, so it kind of makes sense that it ended up here too. Sober is just fun and aggressive, but not in an aggressive sense towards another person. It's just kind of like, you know, like when you feel a little frustrated with life and you just kind of want to be like, don't tell me what to do, which is one of my favorite lyrics in this song. It's just really fun. Like, it's a really fun song to put on and jump around and just be crazy in your living room alone. I know that by experience. And so I'm going to say for Mood, this one has a nice chaotic energy, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. First impressions, I just remember thinking, wow, this song is really something. And so I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5, just because I got to stop giving everything a 5 out of 5. And I love Sober a lot. But in comparison to some of these other tracks, I'm going to say it was a 4 out of 5. And has it held up over time? I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5. An amazing, amazing, amazing track. But it's not the first one I put on when I'm trying to throw back. Number 8, Smokahontas. This is one that I'm so glad is on this list. And I'm so glad it's in the top 10 too. Because Smokahontas, this song reaches me on another level. This is one of my absolute favorite songs. It's a song that I can bump so hard anytime. Mood, it's like hard to express. It's very aggressive. It's got a lot of screaming vocals in it, but then it also has like a clean chorus. To me, it just feels perfect. I don't even know how to describe the mood. It's not really angry at all, but it's not like soft. It's kind of a happy medium between showing a little bit of anger, but also just a little bit of expression, which I think makes it really unique. It's got a lot of different changes in the way the music is played and the way that the vocals are done, and it gives some mood shifts into the song itself. So Smokeahontas, I'm gonna say mood 5 out of 5. I absolutely love it. First impressions, I'd probably just say 4 out of 5 because I don't think like I knew how special this song was the first time I listened to it. Like it took a few listens for me to really fall in love with it the way I did. But I'm gonna give Holding Up Over Time a 5 out of 5 because I lose my mind when this song comes up when I'm putting my music on shuffle. Number 9 on the list, Brazil by Declan McKenna. Number 9 and number 10 are both by Declan McKenna, which I think is absolutely fantastic because I remember Brazil was the very first song I heard by Declan, and funnily enough, it's really not one of my favorite tracks now. I don't dislike it by any means, that's not what I'm saying, but I love so many of Declan's tracks at this point that I wouldn't say Brazil is one of my favorites. It's a great song, it's a good one to bump. If it's your first time listening to Declan, definitely listen to it, but it's just not one of his best songs in my opinion, but I bumped this song so hard because he's just such a good artist that even like not his best song is pretty amazing. And this was the only song I knew of his for a really long time, so I bumped this song a lot when it first came out. And then eventually I was like, this guy's amazing, I want to listen to a few of his other tracks. And What Do You Think About the Car, the album that the next song on the list is off of, I became totally obsessed with it. I love it. It's one of the few albums in college that I listened to all the way through and became obsessed with all the way through. Because I've talked about it here on the podcast before. I don't really listen to albums all the way through anymore. But What Do You Think About the Car is one that I went through, fell in love with, listened to the album all the time. And Why Do You Feel So Down, track number 10, is one of my absolute favorites off the record. But there's so many good ones that if it weren't for the fact that it says here that I have the most plays, I wouldn't really know which one to recommend to someone first. But going back to Brazil to rate it real quick, mood, I'm going to give that song a solid 4 out of 5. It's a good song. First impression, 5 out of 5. I was absolutely in love with it. Has it held up over time? Just because I love a lot of other songs by Declan more, especially because Zeros is being released this month, and he's put out some really good singles from that record, I'm going to say it's just a 4 out of 5. It's not going to be the first Declan song I'd go back to anymore, but I'm glad it introduced me to the artist. Now, track number 10, Why Do You Feel So Down, is such a great song. It's very 21 Pilots-esque in the sense that, like, the lyrics are super kind of edgy in a sense, but the music's really upbeat. So it's like fun, happy time, but then the lyrics are kind of more so sad and mellowed out. So Why Do You Feel So Down? It just reminds me of a lot of my favorite music because, you know, Paramore's After Laughter is kind of like that. 21 Pilots has a lot of music like that. And Declan has this beautiful track that's just like that. So for moods, I would say the mood is a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love listening to this song. The hook is amazing, like the chorus, and I can get into it every single time. And then first impressions, yes, this was instantly one of my favorites off of the record. It's what kind of really made me push through this record. And over time, yeah, I could listen to this song today. So we're only going to go halfway through this list. I'm going to do the top 25, and then we'll do the last top 25 in another podcast. But moving on from number 10, we're into number 11, All I Want by A Day to Remember. This is a song that actually, like, I was so into it when I first heard it. And I'll say it has a really good message, and I do enjoy the theme. But this is one that hasn't quite held up through time like some of the other tracks. It's still a really good track. And I think it's mostly just my preference that has changed. I'm not very much into that A Day to Remember sound. It's kind of, I still like pop punk, but it's really not my thing anymore. I'm not that into it. So All I Want, although the message is beautiful, I love that song for the message. All I want is a place to call my own, to mend the hearts of everyone who feels alone. He's just talking about how badly he wants to make things right and to do the right by the world, and how he wants to do that with his music, and how playing my songs is the way I cope with life. Like, he's talking about how much music means to him. It's a very beautiful song. I do really enjoy it, but it's not one that I go back to that often. So for Holding Up Over Time, I'm gonna have to give this a 3 out of 5. I can still very much enjoy it, but I'm not gonna search for this track quite as much. I think first impressions, though, I was really into this kind of music. The Day to Remember sound and that pump rock vibe and the good message. It was a 5 out of 5. When I first heard it, I totally vibed with it. But taste changes with time, and what sticks, what doesn't really stick around as much with you, it just happens. And so for mood and theme, though, I'm going to say 4 out of 5. I do love the message of this song, but like I said, the way that it's portrayed really doesn't speak to me quite as much anymore. Number 12, You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison by My Chemical Romance. This is like my favorite song off of this particular record. And as for a mood and theme, this track is really just, it's just chaotic energy. It's just singing chaotically. I don't know. My soulmate's a killer. They make me do push-ups and drag. Well, nobody cares if you're losing yourself. Am I losing myself? Yeah, it's just, it's a good song. I like it. And so for mood and theme and vibe, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Does it hold up over time? Yes, I love this track a lot. I can still bump this track. It's a good, My Chem was always really good, and they always wrote really interesting perspectives on different things they write about. So I think this track is a very interesting perspective on what he's speaking on. And so I'm going to say a solid 4.5 out of 5. It's not all the way there yet, but it's pretty close. And then as far as holding up over time, 4 out of 5, you know. And then first impressions, 5 out of 5. This was an instant favorite of mine off of 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Talk Too Much by Coin is number 13. Talk Too Much is a song that I heard around like sophomore year of college by Coin. I do really like Coin still. This band has a lot of good songs, and this one is just, it's just so catchy. That's the great thing about Coin. Now the songs are fun, and there's like, they're good songs. They're not just catchy. There's depth to them. The music's good. The vocals are good. The lyrics slap. I absolutely love Talk Too Much. The hook, you know I talk too much. That it just slaps. It's amazing. It's catchy. It's a beat you could groove to. It's definitely a danceable track. And so for mood and theme, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. This is one you put on when you're just trying to have a good time, have fun. This is one you can put on in the car with your friends and just totally bump it out with them. And then for first impressions, 5 out of 5. It's so catchy that at first listen, you'll totally be hooked. So that's how I felt. And has it held up over time? Yes. I think I recently put this song on a playlist because it's fantastic. Now, number 15, we're going to revisit an artist we've already talked about, Hollywood Undead, number 5. This is Party Anthem, number 2. Number 5, honestly, like, number 5 and Everywhere I Go, they both slap so hard. I can't choose which one slaps more, but I heard Everywhere I Go way before I heard number 5, which is why it made it higher on this list. But number 5 is probably going to work its way up the charts in the next few years because it is a phenomenal song. It's such a party anthem. I'm going to say the same thing I did for the last one. The party vibe, the way that it just feels so high energy and just beautiful chaos. 5 out of 5 for mood. I remember hearing this song, though, for the first time and just being instantly in love with it. And like, yes, Hollywood Undead. This album is amazing. This album is fantastic. And this song is definitely one of the standout tracks from that album. So I'm going to say for holding up over time, 5 out of 5. First impression, 5 out of 5. And like I already said, the mood, 5 out of 5. I'm giving this all 5 stars. Now, number 15 is very different from anything else on this list, actually. It's very different from what I've talked about so far. This is Cough Cough by Everything Everything. I don't know that much music by Everything Everything, though I've heard a few of their tracks and listened to a few of their albums before. This song, though, it definitely stuck with me after the first time I listened to it. So first impressions, 5 out of 5. It's why I kept bumping it and ended up on this list. It's just, I don't know what it is about it, but the song, it's catchy, like cough, cough, yeah, cough, cough. So I like the hook a lot, and it has a message behind it, which it took me a minute to understand it, but I kind of like looked up the lyrics before and really thought about it, and it ended up making sense. I ended up reading something that the artist talked about it, and it's all about greed and money, and the message is there. It's there, but it's said in such a unique way that you could really enjoy the song without fully understanding the message, but you'll definitely start to pick up on it by some of the things that are said in the song. And I think that having such a deep message in the song that's so experimental is really unique, and I really love Cough Cough for it. So mood and theme, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. And as far as first impressions, I'm also going to have to give it a 5 out of 5 because it's a very unique sounding song. There's not a lot of songs that sound like Cough Cough. There's not a lot of artists that sound like Everything Everything. They have a unique thing going. They have their own style, and it's really good. And as far as holding up over time, I'm still going to give this a 5 out of 5. I think this track and this artist is so unique that it's something I don't tire of because it's not like something I hear a lot, and it's not like something I hear from many artists. So I'm totally just going to 5-star this one as well. And this is to be expected, like I said. I mean, this is my top 50 playlist of most played songs of all time, and I listen to a lot of music, so that's saying something about how much I like these tracks. So I'm sorry if you're tired of hearing me call these all 5 stars, but it's true. Anyhow, number 16, We Change by Clarence Clarity. As you can see here, number 16 and number 18 are both by Clarence Clarity. We Change, though, is the first song I heard by this artist, much like Brazil from Declan McKenna's album. This was the first song I heard by this artist. It's not my favorite song anymore. It's still a good song, just like Brazil, but it's not my favorite anymore now that I've listened to the artist a whole bunch. I really, really love a lot of other tracks way more, but this was the first track I heard by this artist, and it's so good that even though it's not his best, it bumps really hard, and I bumped this song so much when I first heard it. And I still love the song. It is a fantastic song, but I'm telling you, number 18 in my head is superior to this song. I love We Change, but Naysayer, Magico Bear, that song is next level. That song takes me somewhere. I'm going to rate We Change first, though. As far as mood and theme, We Change is such an interesting sounding song because it's got like these electronic vibes to it. It's very upbeat, fast paced, but there's kind of some rock and just there's so many different elements involved in this music. There's a lot of synths and there's a lot of sounds and there's a lot happening and there's a lot of distortion in the vocals and interesting layers. It's just, you kind of have to sit there and dissect through Clarence Clarity's music as you're listening to it. Feel the different layers, feel the different sounds, feel out the different genres that are being played in, and it makes for an interesting experience. Every time I listen to one of their songs, I try to focus on something different because there's so much you could hear from a Clarence Clarity song. And We Change, there's just so much going on, and I love the message. It's very simple, it's straightforward, and he keeps repeating it. We change. We change. And it's, I don't know, I love that song so much. So I'm going to say first impressions, it was a 5 out of 5. Held Up Over Time, 5 out of 5. And you already know this is all 5 stars. I absolutely love this song. I would recommend this song and number 18, Naysayer, Magico Bear, to anyone. I'm also going to 5-star that one for mood, first impressions, and is it held up over time? Yes, it totally has. Like I said, though, Naysayer is my favorite song by Clarence Clarity, and it's because there's just so the lyrics are like amazing. It's really upbeat, up-paced, and there's so much change in the music in this song. Like, it kind of feels like it ends like 3-ish times, and I actually really enjoy that about this track because it's just like the layers. There's so many layers, and you peel back the layers and they fit together and they change the mood, and I go on an experience. Every time I listen to this song, there's like a music video that plays in my head, and it's absolutely fantastic. So that's 16 and 18. We're going to go into 17 here. Another song that is a musical experience, Mama by My Chemical Romance. This is most definitely not the first time I've ever talked about this record on this podcast. The Black Parade is phenomenal. I absolutely love this record. Like, there's so many good tracks on that record, but Mama is an experience, and it's a track that I go back to a lot. I love Mama. It is one of those songs, it reminds me of Jesus of Suburbia in the sense that it's just like a very long song, and there's a lot that happens, and there's a lot of change in pace, and it feels less like a song, like a really long story told in song. I don't know, it kind of feels like a little opera in a short song. Just like in Naysayer, Magico Bear, there's changes, but they all fit so well, and they take you on a journey. I feel so involved in the story when I listen to Mama by My Chemical Romance. So for mood and theme, I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 5. I dig the way that this song is like eerie and creepy, but also kind of feels evil. I don't know how to explain it exactly. It just kind of feels like dark, but in like a laughing sense, like dark humor. As far as first impressions, 5 out of 5. I thought this track totally slapped. The guitars are great. Gerard Way's singing is fantastic. It's a phenomenal track. And has it held up over time? Yes, I can still bump this one so hard. I just love looking at this list because it's just really good music. Number 19 is IDGAF by Breathe Carolina. There's also another Breathe Carolina song that we're going to hit before the end of this list, which is great. IDGAF is off of my favorite record by this band, Breathe Carolina's record, Hello Fascination. I can bump that entire record so hard every day. It has, like, for sure, like, as far as over time, I would say, like, 6 out of 5 stars. I never tire of this record. I absolutely love it. This track is one of the, like, most catchy ones in it. It's just good music. I mean, there's so much, like, elements of electronic music, but there's also a heavy rock influence, and I absolutely dig it. I just can't say enough good stuff about this album. I've talked about this record before here on the podcast, And so I'm not going to say too much, although I've already said a lot about it. But for mood and tone, it's high energy. This is music that I dance to, I work out to. This is music I want to put on the car. This is music that I listen to when I party. This is good, high energy music, and I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars for its mood. First impression, every Breathe Carolina song that I've ever loved, especially off of this record, Hello Fascination, has been an instant hit for me. 5 out of 5. And has it held up over time? Yes, this entire record has. I've already said that. So total 5 out of 5, giving it all 15 of those stars. Well, 16, because I said 6 out of 5 before. Changing the vibe completely, because I think Breathe Carolina and Clarence Clarity, they don't sound alike at all if you listen to the two artists, but they kind of fit in to each other in category because they have those electronic influences and they have a very high upbeat sound, and because I love them a lot. So we're going to switch things up a bit with one of my absolute favorite bands, Modern Diet. I love Modern Diet so much. They're a little band from New Jersey, I believe, or New York. Definitely one of those two. They are fantastic. This is the first song of theirs that I ever fell in love with, and it is still my absolute favorite song by them, and it's one of my absolute favorite songs of all time. Red Eye. It's an experience. You put on Red Eye, and there's a music video for it too, and the visuals are absolutely beautiful. It really fits along with the story. I love their sound. They're very much indie rock. They're mellow, they're laid back, but they're so good. I can't overstate how much I love this band. Modern Diet just has a phenomenal sound. They're catchy, but they say things that just work. I can't even explain it. I love Modern Diet so much, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I absolutely love Modern Diet. The mood and theme of this song, it's very smooth, indie. It's kind of trippy. Like the video and stuff, it kind of puts you on like a mental, like, whoa, like what's happening? What are we talking about here? I really love that about the song. So I'm going to give the mood and theme 5 out of 5. I just said this is one of my favorite bands. Let's just say it's all the stars. First impression, 5 out of 5. Has it held up? 5 out of 5. Red Eye by Modern Diet. Still one of my favorite songs. Still one of the first songs that I show people whenever I recommend people music. I think anyone I've ever recommended music to, I've sent them this song because it's my absolute, like, it's one of my absolute favorites. It's an amazing track, and I love Modern Diet. This band keeps putting out good music. Support them. Please support Modern Diet. They are a small band. If you listen to this and you're interested, go check them out on Spotify. Check them out anywhere and everywhere. They're a little piece of treasure that you could find in the music world, and I hope that one day I can go up to Jersey. I believe it's New York. I can go up to Jersey or New York to go see them live because they're always performing up there. All right, number 21 is We Are Sick by From Indian Lakes. I've talked about this band on the podcast as well for one of their records, and We Are Sick is a great song. It's one of the first indie songs that I really got into, which is why it's so high on this list. And I have to say, I still love this song. I still love this band, but it doesn't quite fit the mold that a lot of these other songs fit. A lot of these other songs, I think, I'd still, like, if I had just heard them today, would still love them to the same degree. And while We Are Sick and the band From Indian Lakes are really good, they don't quite catch my interest the same way as they used to. So I'm going to say that as far as mood and theme, I wish the song The Monster by From Indian Lakes was on here. Maybe it'll work its way up here one day because I absolutely adore that track. But We Are Sick has not quite held up over time for me, so I'm going to have to say, as far as holding up over time, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, because I can still definitely listen to it, but it's not one I'm going to bump the way I'd bump other songs on this playlist. First impressions, though, 5 out of 5. I was in love with this track. It's on this playlist, so I definitely was bumping it back in the day. But mood and theme, I'm going to have to give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, although I do love the song. I do enjoy it. Like I said, it just doesn't quite hold up for me. But The Monster by From Indian Lakes, now that would 5-star it for me. That song is fantastic. But that song came out, I think, in like 2016 or 2017. So I just haven't been bumping it that hard. But I would replace that on this list for this, just because I love this song. I do. It's a good song. But yeah, that's From Indian Lakes. They are a really good band. Like, I feel kind of bad not giving them like 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. But I'm just trying to be honest with this list. This song hasn't lived up for me, but the band is still good, and I still have their record on my top 10 favorite record list, but this song isn't from that record, and it doesn't quite hold up for me. Number 22, we're revisiting My Chemical Romance, but this time we're going into Danger Days, and we're talking about Na Na Na, This song is just so catchy. This song is insanely catchy. I was not a big fan of Danger Days. Like I said, I always talk about My Chem. I talk about the Black Parade, but that wasn't their last record. For anyone who's a fan of them, they know that they came out with the Danger Days after that, but I'm not a huge fan of that record. I don't dislike it by any means, and there are plenty of tracks off of that record that I really do like and still bump. But that's not like, it definitely doesn't. Like, it kind of sits in the shadows compared to the Black Parade. But Na 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 does not. I love that song. The video is awesome because I've read The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys before, and I love the story. And the song is super catchy. I love to play it on guitar. I used to play this song so much because it's really fun. And yeah, Na Na Na, mood/theme. It's upbeat, it's fun, but when you watch the video, you can feel that, what is it? Look alive, sunshine. You can feel the mood, the vibe, the story, this triumph, these heroes going in to save the world. It's beautiful. For mood and theme, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. First impressions was 5 out of 5. And yes, I still am in love with this track, as you can tell. 5 out of 5 for me. All right, we're on 23 now, so we're almost done with this list. We're going to go with Guru by Coast Modern. If you look at this picture, you can kind of see it kind of resembles Coin's artwork as far as style goes. And I think that Coast Modern and Coin, I kind of group them in my head in similar categories. Their music sounds very influenced by the same stuff. So I would say Guru very much reminds me of that track by Coin we talked about. But Guru, it stood out to me when I first heard it. Baby, be my guru. I don't know. It's brilliant. I absolutely love that song. It's catchy. It's fun. It's definitely something I could dance to and sing along with. I love singing along to this song. And so for mood and vibe, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I absolutely love this song, but it doesn't quite make the 5 out of 5 tier list like some of the other tracks. First impressions, 5 out of 5. Almost, I'm just going to assume all of these were a 5 out of 5 first impression, and that's how they ended up on this list. But for holding up over time, I'm also going to give it 4.5 stars because although I do love this track and I can still bump it, it is a little repetitive, so it does tire out after a little while. So I can't bump it quite as much as some of these other tracks, but if I haven't heard it in a while, I can definitely bump it. We're going back to an artist we already talked about, Breathe Carolina. Like I said, they made the list again. Number 24 is Blackout. I only really am super familiar with 2 other songs that are not on the Hello Fascination record because that's my favorite record by this band. And Blackout is one of those tracks that I'm like really familiar with off of a different record. It's amazing. It's fun. It's another party anthem. I would kind of put it in my head up there with like Hollywood Undead. It's just like, I won't black out. Yeah, I used to love listening to this song because sometimes I did black out. I just like Blackout. I think it's funny. It's a good song. It's very electronic, just like Breathe Carolina. It fits the mold of Hello Fascination so much. I think that's why I like it, because it kind of sounds like it could have ended up on Hello Fascination. It's very similar to that sound. You can tell it's not on Breathe Carolina's record, Hello Fascination, but it's like a cousin. It's like a very close cousin to that record. I absolutely love this. I'm going to give the mood 5 out of 5. I'm going to say it held up over time, and its first impression, we're both 5 out of 5s. Breathe Carolina is a band that's wildly impressed me with the stuff that I've heard from them, so I do highly rate this band in my head. And last up on part 1, number 25 is Seaside by The Cooks. And I'm actually kind of surprised to see this here, not because I have anything against the song. I really love this song, and I recently refound it and started listening to it again. And I can see why it's on here. But it's just really interesting because it's very different from a lot of the other tracks on this list. Seaside is a very mellow, laid-back, short acoustic track. It was a song that I had heard a long time ago because an artist I really liked covered this song. And then I was like, wow, that song's really cool. I should go listen to it. And I absolutely loved it. And I still love this song. It's beautiful. It's cute. It's sweet. It's a mellow little love song, do you want to go to the seaside? I love this song, and I want to cover it sometime. I should cover it sometime. That's number 25, The Cooks, a very slow, cute, mellow acoustic track, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 for mood. It's the perfect song to put on when you're just trying to chill. And as far as first impressions, it was a 5 out of 5. Like I said, first time I heard it was in a cover, and I still thought the lyrics were beautiful and cute and had to go to the song. And then as far as holding up over time, I just refound this song, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. So 5 out of 5. And that's how we're going to end this list. On a very positive note, like literally all of this video. I'm not one to sit here. I'm not going to talk about things too much if I don't like them. I have talked about things before and been honest if I don't like them, but there's no need to be negative. So this is my honest and positive reviews of these songs on this playlist. It's my top 25. Of course, it's going to be a very positive podcast, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I want to make this a conversation. I love making these things conversations. So please tell me below if you want to go to this website here. I just Googled Spotify stats and I found this. Let me know what some of your top tracks were. Do we have any in common? Do you have any top tracks that I have? Do you have any thoughts on any of the tracks that I have? Do you agree with some of these or disagree with some of these? Let me know. That's it. So until next time, stay psyched.